Hi, welcome back. My name is Larissa and I am your tutor. Not necessarily your teacher, but probably. Recuerden que esta clase de gramática es esta grabación. La única vez que tenemos interacción en vivo, no necesariamente conmigo, pero con un maestro, es en la clase de conversación que ocurre una vez a la semana. Es 1 hora a la semana, very short time. Okay, let's continue with Unit 47. Okay, so what are we going to see in this unit? The use of the expression of permission, obligations, prohibitions, etc. Okay, so specifically the use of allowed and permitted, the use of have to, use of must, and supposed to. Okay, so what is not allowed? Okay, that you can't do something, right? And what is permitted? That you can do something. You are allowed to do something. Okay, for instance, in the classroom, you are not allowed to shout. You're not allowed to drink soda in the church. You are not permitted to speak in the library. You can also replace not allowed or permitted for the modal verbs can or must or let. That one is not a modal verb. So you can say you can't speak in the library. Okay, it's the same that you are not permitted to speak in the library. You must not drink soda in the church. Okay, it's the same as you are not allowed. It is not permitted to drink soda in the church. They don't let you use a red pen in the exam. Okay, so as we can see, there are different ways, several ways to express one idea or the same idea. Okay, what about have to and must? Let's go and check them. Okay, so have to. We use the have to or has to, depending on the pronoun that we are using. We use it to express that something is necessary to happen. For instance, I have to learn English. She has to learn English. They have to be quiet in this building. He has to take the exam first. I have to leave now. You have to take your medication if you want to feel better. Okay, again, here, have to is acting as an auxiliary verb. And it always goes with a verb in infinitive. Okay, the auxiliary verb is the one that changes depending on the pronoun that we have. And then the main verb is expressed in infinitive and it doesn't change to travel. In this case, to travel. I have to travel, she has to travel. What about questions, interrogative sentence? We add an extra auxiliary verb, which is do or does, depending on the pronoun. And that other auxiliary verb is going to help us express interrogative sentences. Here, the auxiliary verb have remains the same for all the pronouns, and so the infinitive, and so does the main verb expressed in infinitive. So in questions, we would say, do I have to travel? Does he have to travel? Does she have to travel? Do they have to travel? Entonces, en el caso de las frases interrogativas, de las preguntas, añadimos un verbo, un auxiliar extra, que es el to do, expresado en su forma de do o does, dependiendo de la persona, del pronombre que estemos utilizando. Este tercer verbo que entra como auxiliar al have, entonces es sobre él, sobre quien recae la expresión del pronombre. Al have, digamos que lo deja descansar, y el have entonces ahora es auxiliar directo. Bueno, también lo había sido en la oración afirmativa, pero ya sobre él no recae el peso de la expresión del pronombre. Permanece igual para todas las personas, para todos los pronombres, y el verbo principal, el que está en infinitivo, igual que en oraciones afirmativas, permanece el mismo. Okay, what about must? Have to or has to are equal or very similar to must, to the modal verb must. So if you say I have to learn English, it's very similar to saying I must learn English. She has to learn English is very similar to expressing she must learn English. It's almost the same idea. I mean, you are expressing a very similar idea. That I have to, that I must is an obligation that I learn English. But look at the form, look at the structure of the modal verb. It doesn't change. It remains the same for all the pronouns. I must, she must, he must, they must. Unlike the have to, which changes depending on the pronoun. Have to, has to, have to. Okay, let's look at some uses of must. Okay, so modal verbs. Modal verbs are complex verbs because we can use it to express several contexts, several meanings. Okay, let's look at some meanings of the modal verb must. For instance, you can express obligation with it. You must wear a seatbelt when you drive. We can also use the must to express deduction. Okay, look at all that snow. It must be cold outside. We also use the must to emphasize a necessity. Plants must have light and water to grow. We also use must to make a strong recommendation. We must get together for dinner soon. And look at the negative form of must. Must not or mustn't means prohibition. You mustn't use your phone while driving. Okay, so we use had to instead of must in the past. I had to pay my speeding ticket yesterday, okay? The must, we can't use the must to express a sentence in the past. So in that case, we use had to. Okay, so what is the main difference between must and have to? We can say that must expresses obligation imposed by the speaker, while have to expresses external obligations. Although, to be honest, in real life, there's not such difference, I mean, a clear difference between both of them. Most of the times you can use them interchangeably, must and have to. Okay, it is more common to use have to instead of must in questions. Does he have to do the rest? It's more usual than saying must he do the rest? Okay, so here with the use of must, we are entering a zone. We are entering certain verbs, very special verbs that are called modal verbs. They are auxiliary helper verbs, and they help us express several conditions about stuff. Okay, what can we express with modal verbs? Likelihood, certainty, probabilidad, certeza, possibility, ability, permission, obligation, need, advice, and we also can use them to express the future. Okay, so modal verbs don't change. They agree with every subject or pronoun. They don't have a to form and infinitive form. You can't say to can. The verbs they help are in infinitive, but without the to. Or you can also say that the verbs they help are on their base form. Okay, what about don't have to? Okay, the negative expression of have to means that something is not necessary, right? And again, when you are expressing the negative form of have to, you invite an extra auxiliary verb, which is the verb to do, don't or doesn't, depending on the pronoun that we use. I don't have to travel, she doesn't have to travel. Okay? I don't have to make dinner when I get home. He doesn't have to make dinner when he gets home. De nuevo, ver cómo tanto para las preguntas, como veíamos hace rato, llamamos a un tercer verbo, a un auxiliar, el do, o dos, dependiendo del pronombre de la persona. Y lo mismo pasa en la expresión negativa del have to. Llamamos a este tercer verbo, al auxiliar do, y él es quien absorbe el peso de la expresión del pronombre, ya no es el have. Ya no podríamos decir I don't, no podríamos decir he doesn't has to travel. No, ya el doesn't está expresando que estamos refiriéndonos a la tercera persona de singular. He doesn't have to travel, she doesn't have to travel. No podríamos decir he doesn't has to travel, she doesn't has to travel. No podríamos decirlo. Ahora, ¿cómo comparamos al modal verb must not en su forma negativa con la forma negativa de have to, don't have to? Ahí sí que hay, a diferencia de lo que pasaba con la expresión positiva, afirmativa de have to y must, que eran muy parecidos, si no es que básicamente podíamos expresar lo mismo. Con la forma negativa de ambos sí que hay una diferencia. Must not or mustn't means that it is prohibited, it is not allowed, it is important that you do not do something. While don't have to or doesn't have to means that there is no obligation. You are not required to do something, especially if you don't want to, okay? There is no obligation, so you can decide if you want to do it or not. For example, with must not, you must not drink that, versus you don't have to drink that. You must not drink that means that it is forbidden to drink that. Don't drink that, it is not allowed. While you don't have to drink that is you don't need to drink that, but you can if you want to. You must not tell Jan, or you mustn't tell Jan means that do not tell Jan, you are not allowed to tell Jan. Versus you don't have to tell Jan means that you can tell him if you want to, but it's not necessary, it's up to you. Okay, so which verb do people use more? Have to is more frequent in conversations, and must is used for more. Is used more in formal writing. Okay, so it's used in formal writing. Okay, for example, in written notices, passengers must fasten their seatbelts. Okay, do they change in form for the pronouns? Have changes in third person singular. She, he, it, has, but must doesn't change. It's a modal verb and modals don't change, right? As we saw here. Okay, guys, I think that's all for today. Yes. Thank you for watching. And I will see you probably on your conversation class. Bye.